Hello, friends. I hope each and every one of you had an amazing New Year's Eve and welcome to year 2023. Let's go ahead and close out December. Just so you kind of know what my plans are for this week is I want to go ahead and film our quarterly update along with a video about my goals and my budget book kind of walk through so that you all know what I decided to keep from the Budget Mom digital copy and things like that. So stay tuned for those videos within the next day or so. I've got a lot to film. Well, friends, let's see how December ended up for us. My income came in for $4,212. My husband's income was $2,521. And then we did get those $500 from my dad to help us with rent. When I add those three values together, and I'm hoping, let me move this over so that the calculator is in frame. Let's go ahead and add those three values together. And that gives us a total of $7,233. When we take that away from the projected amount that I had budgeted, we came in with $67 less. Moving on to our fixed expenses. Rent came in the month of December for $2,445. Subscriptions were $79. Our Excel, which is our gas and energy, was $178. The Apple phone was $57. T-Mobile was that steady $100. Xfinity was on par for $159. Allstate, I had made a miscalculation and it was actually $166. Nationwide was $154. That's our dog's insurance. And then we did pay $10 towards Postnet, and we did not have any unbudgeted expenses. Let's go ahead and add these values together. I'm trying to take this a little slower because I've noticed that when I do these, my math is a little off. Let me go ahead and recalculate that. I've got to hit all the buttons. 100, 159, 166, 154, and 10. And that gets us to a value of $3,348. Moving on to our variable expenses, we did put $300 towards food. We put the $250 towards gas. We held off on pets this month. My husband and I got $50, so we did lower that. Eating out got $75, and miscellaneous got its $50. When we add those values together, that gets us a total of $775 for variable expenses. Let's come down to debt. So we ended up paying $426 towards our minimums towards the credit cards. Our Upstart loans were at that steady $1,652. The Advantage was $181. based on what we put towards snowball, plus the little overage that the Dell principal was going to get because we were paying the previous minimum balance, that actually ended up getting $164 over. And then the Capital One principal, which is on my husband's Barclay, just got its steady 51. So we've got 426, 1652. And that gets us, that's off. And that gets us a value of $2,474. Last but certainly not least is our savings section. So I did end up putting $250 towards our Christmas fund. My husband, we couldn't get past week 48, which was the very first week in December. So instead of getting $250, it got $48. And then we did have to cancel one of the sinking funds for one of the weeks due to his income. So we ended up putting $320 towards our sinking funds this month instead of the $400. And that's going to happen sometimes. I've learned to just roll with the punches. So we've got $250 plus the $48 plus the $320. And that gets us to a total of $618. When we go to this section to go ahead and figure out how our month really came out, we take our income, which is the $7,233, minus the sum of all of these numbers that are next to those pink boxes, since these are the updated numbers. So we do have the 618 plus the 2474 plus 775 from our variable expenses, and then 3348 from our fixed expenses. And that gets us a total of $7,215. When we take the difference between these two numbers, we've got an income of $72.33 minus total expenses of $72.15, which leaves us with an overage of $18. Now, usually this makes more sense to me, but as I said, there was a lot of, especially during the month of December, there was a lot of paying things up front and getting repaid from my dad and back and forths like that. So it says 18 here, but I've got a $50 bill in my wallet. So I obviously did not stay consistent with managing my expenses in the month of December. I'm just happy that we were at an overage rather than being under. And I think that had a lot to do with the fact that we brought in $67 less, but we saved $100 here in our personal funds. So we just kind of adapted. Taking a look at where our debt kind of stands right now. This is our Dell principal, which is on my Barclay. This is our number one debt snowball right now. My goal for the end of 2022 was to get to 50%. We did surpass that, which is awesome. So we're at 51, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we actually got to 56%. We are going to have to kind of jump into gear because this needs to be paid off before April of 2023 in order to get this to not incur any added interest, since it's on a 0% interest right now due to a balance transfer. This right here is our Capital One, which is currently sitting on my husband's Barclay. This one doesn't get any extra money, except for the fact that we had stayed with the previous minimum before we did the balance transfer. So we're hoping to get big chunks of this kind of paid off by the time we finish the Dell, in order to knock this one out as soon as possible to kind of help us with morale with that debt snowball. Currently, it is sitting at 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. So we've paid 38% of the Capital One principal without really even trying, which is awesome. This right here is our big mama. These are our Upstart loans. We do have 2 loans through Upstart. One of them was a consolidation loan that I took out about 5 years ago, but unfortunately had incurred debt, which is why we were in that predicament that we were in when we started this budgeting journey on April 1st of 2022. That being said, the stars that have the 940 are the ones that are from that previous loan. The 711 comes from the most recent consolidation loan that we took out in April to help us pay off some of our high interest credit cards. So currently we owe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have 9 more payments towards our big Upstart loan, which means it will be freeing up those $940 to help us pay off some debt. We see a light at the end of the tunnel. Let's go ahead and go over our closeout, which is my favorite section in the Budget Mom workbook, and the reason why I wasn't able to kind of walk away from this. I love this end setup. This month, we were able to pay, just in minimum payments, $2,322.64. When we add the $250 that went towards extra payments on the Barclays, so my husband's Barclay got $51, and then my Barclay, which is the snowball, got a little more. We ended up paying a total of $2,537.64. The total amount of all of our debt is currently sitting at $130,000 with $942.83, which means that we paid off a total of $2,340.67. That was a monthly debt progress of 1.67%. Moving on to, let's go ahead. Here's where I think there was a fluke. I think that some of the creditors actually haven't closed out their month, because what I usually do is I take our total monthly payments minus what our progress was to find out what our interest rate is. And our interest rate came in for $196.97. That's not normal for us. We usually pay $600 to $700, which is why I think that some of the creditors just haven't closed out due to the holiday. We'll be able to kind of assess this in January to see if it changes. Taking a look at our overall progress from the beginning, we have paid off an overall amount of $9,027.14, which means that we have an overall progress of 6.4%. And I will take that any day. As long as we're going down, that's my goal. Taking a look at our monthly net worth, this month it actually went up. Now, the reason it went up $862.41, which means that it went more in the negative, is because my retirement plan through TIAA CREF, which is through my employer, actually lost about $2,600. That paired with the fact that our Upstart loan is towards the tail end, so less interest is being taken out because most of the interest was paid at the beginning of the loan. That has kind of evened itself out to be negative $1,758.95. Now, in the month of December compared to November, that was an increase in the negative of 96.2%. But like I said, because our net worth is so contingent on the stock market at this point, just because we're in so much debt, it doesn't worry me so much. I've noticed on my tracker that it goes up and down quite a bit. So I'm not going to lose sleep over that one. Here's our monthly debt breakdown. On this page, I like to take a look at where our overages were. So we did pay $12 more into credit cards. I'm pretty sure that's probably because minimums were updated. My miscalculation on the Allstate was by $20, but in this case, because I had budgeted $146, it was $19.97. And then as always, I keep our interest as a red number or a overage because that money is going out the door. Now, sadly, none of our savings actually got any overage, which is sad. And you'll see how that kind of played into everything on the next page. Here's where we go ahead and calculate our monthly debt and savings breakdown. First thing I notice when I take a look at this, I like to keep our debt payments to about 30% and our savings to about 10%. We were a little higher in debt payment and almost a full percent less in savings. But seeing as our income was so skewed this month, it doesn't stress me out very much. Going here to kind of make sure that we're on track with our debt snowball. As always, our Upstart loans have the highest rates and the highest amount of payments. So they take up about 60% of all of the debt that goes out in a month. I go ahead and take a look to see what the next highest percentage is. And in this case, it was the Barclay, which has that Dell premium or principal. And that means that our third highest debt payment went towards our goal of that snowball. So I'm happy with that. Last but certainly not least is our November to December comparison. Our monthly inflow changed from November to December by being $1,430.17 less than the previous month. Overall, taking a look at the overages from one to the other, we do have $1,515 in subscriptions. As I've mentioned before, I am on a every other month payment plan with Audible. And so we didn't pay it in November and we did pay it in December. So that's what accounts for that overage. Allstate, that was the difference that I had miscalculated, which was $20.69. And here's where it's the easiest to explain the fluke that I think happened between creditors not having closed out and things like that. Our average is about $684. This month, it came up for $196.97, which is a difference of $487. And that's not normal for us. Usually this is skewed by probably $50 to $100. So I think that that's where the fluke is. Hopefully my suspicions are correct and it'll go back to normal in the month of January. Well, friends, we are at the end of this debt closeout. I hope each and every one of you has an amazing rest of your weekend, and I will see you all really soon. Take care, friends. Bye.